Welcome to Prostate Cancer, the road to recovery, hosted by Stage 4 prostate cancer fighter Jason Stone. Whether you're newly diagnosed, a survivor, or a loved one or someone going through this experience, this podcast offers a lifeline of information and support. Based on real-time experiences, interviews with other fighters and survivors, and discussions with medical professionals, get ready for a raw, educational, and inspiring ride. Now let's join Jason as he shares his path to recovery.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to Prostate Cancer, the Road to Recovery. My name is Jason. I'm 53 years old, and I have prostate cancer, and it has metastasized to my spine. I've been in treatment since August 28th, and on this podcast, we talk about it. Today is, I just realized I don't know what today's date is, October 19th of 2023. So I've been in treatment August, September, almost 2 months. And tomorrow's my last day of treatment. So, yeah, that's what we're here to talk about. So last episode was an interview with my brother Keith, and that went really well. We had some good discussions about, the person with cancer, it's super easy to think about myself. And it was interesting hearing my brother open up about how my diagnosis impacted him and changes that he's made. If you haven't watched or listened to episode 7, please do. We've got other interviews we're lining up, including my other brother, Stuart. And I'm looking forward to that one as well. He's got some interesting experiences with cancer in his life as well. And I've got a friend I met through this adventure, Glenn from Nebraska. Hey, Glenn, dart player. That we're going to talk about his situation and his cancer and its uniqueness. Hopefully share some info with people that'll help him. And then I've got a friend from work, Kelly, who went through this years ago, but had a different treatment path and what his experience is. Because all we've talked about here really is the hormone therapy and the radiation treatment. But that's not the only treatment path. And so Kelly's going to enlighten us with some of what he went through, what that was like, and why his decision was what it was. And then one I'm really looking forward to, we're going to do an interview with my radiation oncologist, Dr. Brian Lewinda. Hey, doctor, I appreciate the help you've given me, and I look forward to the interview. Now, this episode, we're going to talk about support groups, including one specifically I got through another radiation oncologist called the Reluctant Brotherhood. But first, an update on my treatment and symptoms. So, current symptoms. Well, previous symptoms. I was having bowel and bladder issues. I'll openly admit that I was staying close to the bathroom. I'll just say that. And I had a couple bladder slips that weren't a big deal, but it does happen. It was happening. So radiation, when you're radiating the prostate, I've talked about that process and what it does, and it's burning all the other organs. Well, I'm making it sound worse than it is, because they're really good about focusing on the prostate. But there is cellular damage to the surrounding tissues. And through that, because you're getting that radiation every day, and through that, the symptoms build and build and build, and eventually I was having to take some Imodium every day. I was having to take anti-nausea pills every day, and I didn't have to take anything for my bladder. I was managing that. Fun fact, you do Kegel exercises to maintain the muscles active down there. So you have to do Kegel exercises. Because when those cells in those muscles get burned, they stop working. And so you have to maintain them working through exercise. Who knew? Yeah, and so that's right now my current symptoms. So we've shifted to every other day treatments to my spine. We're doing 5 doses to my spine is all. So I'm done with the prostate radiation. Yay, mini moment of celebration. And we're doing the doses to the spine. I've done 4 of 5. The first day was actually the worst on the symptoms, and I think it's just because it was so new to my body. That first night, I really had a hard time sleeping. And most of it, I didn't put two and two together till well into the next day. It was my legs. My legs, and I would talk to the nurse about it on the next visit, and she said, well, was it like restless leg syndrome? I have no idea. I don't know that I've ever had that. My legs had a dull ache. I couldn't get comfortable. I had to keep shifting. I had to keep, they felt not good. And I wish I had a better explanation, a better description for that, but that's how it was. And even right now, I got treatment yesterday, and they just don't feel normal. So I'm getting radiation doses to my spine. And my cancer, thank you, Dr. Brian Lewinda, for clarifying this. I thought it was on the outside of my L1, but it's actually on the inside of my L1. And so when that radiation beams go around my body in a 360-degree circle, arc, I was going to say arc, but it's a circle, then it's going, starts through the back and comes around through the front and back around through the back again. It stays targeted on that L1 spot the whole way through, right? But it gets the spinal cord a little bit. No, not bad. The whole way this is designed is to minimize damage to the spinal cord, but through the spinal cord is nerve bundles, including those that go to your legs, and I feel the effects of that. The first day I was walking like a drunken sailor, like I was back in Singapore or something again. Yeah, it felt weird and just kind of stumbled a little bit. Not bad, not super, super obvious, but I felt it and you could see it. And then after the second treatment, that was still there a little bit. But what was interesting is by the next day was mostly fine. I still had that really, really dull ache's too strong of a word for it. Like a need to just flex my leg muscles, just flex them to let them relax because they're just not relaxed. But they're not tight. That's a good way of saying that. They're not relaxed, but they're not tight. Yeah. Some light walking every day helps, so I'm trying to do that. My kids were out here, which was awesome. My two youngest were out here from Minnesota, and they spent about a month here helping out. The help around the house was awesome. Just hanging out and the support. You want to be around family. You want to be around friends. You need to keep a positive mental attitude, and that helped. And so we went and did a couple things. Of course, my fatigue limited a lot of what we could do. I've been sleeping 9-10 hours a night and still tired. I don't know if you can tell. This is after 9.5 hours of sleep, and I'm on my second cup of coffee already, and I want to just close my eyes and lay down and sleep another 2 hours. But that's what life's going to be like for a while. And for a while, as long as I'm on hormone therapy, because my testosterone is knocked through the floor. And testosterone controls how we think. It controls how we feel. Well, yeah. It controls our energy levels. And it impacts, so having low testosterone impacts our ability to concentrate, our ability to, our memory, our short-term memory. It impacts our energy levels, all those things. And I'm seeing all those symptoms changes the way you think. Not having the testosterone that your brain is used to changes how you think. Anyway, I'm starting to babble and wander. Surprise, surprise. So the biggest thing with my symptoms is, the legs and just the uneasiness and weirdness in my legs. But tomorrow's my last day of treatment. Yeah, tomorrow I ring the bell. There's a bell ceremony in prostate cancer. When you're done with treatment, there's a bell that you can ring. So I'm bringing cake, thanks Sunday, and I'm doing getting a picture, and I'm going to do the bell ringing ceremony tomorrow. And that signifies the end of the radiation treatment, which is, and this is where I'm at today. I'm scared. I am absolutely scared. I've done a lot of things. I was very proactive about my treatment and trying to make sure that that I fall under the, hey, let's eradicate this. Let's actually get rid of this cancer. And that included diet, included improving my exercise level. It included, making sure my radiation treatment was as effective as possible, showing up with an empty bowel and a full bladder every time, not missing any. I didn't miss a single one. That kind of stuff really, I really took to heart is I need to do this in order to make sure that we eradicate this cancer, and I'm not just staying in the palliative care column. But I'm scared because I don't know if it worked, and I won't know. So about halfway through radiation treatment, I had an assumption coming out of this that, okay, we would go do another PSMA PET scan and see, do I have any active cancer anywhere? And the answer to that's, we're not going to do that. That's not something that is generally approved by the insurance. That's not something that is generally done. All we're going to do is monitor my PSA levels. So I'll do a follow-up. Sorry, I'm having more emotions lately, so I apologize for the stumbling around. But we're gonna monitor my PSA levels. We're gonna monitor my testosterone, and that's it. We're gonna assume that it worked until proven otherwise. I'm going to do a follow-up with my doctor about 30 days after my last treatment with my radiation oncologist, and he's just going to check and see, am I having any symptoms? How am I feeling? How's it? But we're not going to know if it worked. Yeah, I'm beating a dead horse here, but that really scares me. I want to know that this worked. I want to know exactly where I'm at, and I'm not going to. And which is kind of a bad loop to be in, right? Because you have to maintain a positive mental attitude. You have to stay positive. That body-mind link is hugely important in healing. And so having fear and having that doubt isn't good. But how do I get past that? How do I just, faith. I don't know, faith, a strong belief that it worked. But that doubt just sits there like the lump in my prostate. Because, we didn't do surgery. It's still there. Those cells are still there. And that's where the fear comes from. So we're going to follow up with the periodic blood tests on my PSA and on my testosterone, and if those stay low, eventually they'll consider weaning me off of the hormone therapy, and I guess uncastrate me. It's tough to maintain a positive mental attitude through all this. It really is. I go through this roller coaster of emotions. I had a really good weekend. I had a really good, Monday, and then I was having a lot of highs, a lot of energy, and this thing just hits me in waves. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and today, I am in a low, and it's tough because these are very low lows, if that makes sense. But that's where I'm at with my treatment. That's where I'm at with my symptoms. Tomorrow's my last day. I'm going to ring the bell. I'm going to have some cake, and we're going to follow up some blood tests in a month, and then a month after that, and then 3 months after that. And as long as all those come back okay, we're going to assume I'm good. And that's where we're at. So Smile. Apparently, smiling, forcing a smile, actually changes how you feel and can. Yeah, maybe it works. I'm feeling something. I'm feeling a little better already. Smile, feel better. All right, so let's talk about the support. Right, I've hammered on the social support through family and connections. We talked a lot about that on last episode with my brother. Reaching out and staying in touch with people, because everybody's going through something, and you don't know how you are impacting somebody. I got to write. I had a sailor that worked for me as an MM2 back 2007. Yeah, 2007 time frame, and he became a chief and then a senior chief and retired from the Navy, and he actually got a job nearby up here, and went over to his house this weekend, and we hung out, and he brought out his charge book. For those of you that are in the Navy and you're chiefs, you know what this means. And he made it up through senior chief and then retired, and brought out his charge book and asked me to write in it. And forgot what I was saying there. I consider that a sacred to the brotherhood, to the chiefs. I consider that a very powerful, strong thing to do. And it meant a lot to me to be able to write some advice in there. Anyway, that's what I was saying. So one of the things I put in there is the fact that you don't know who you are impacting. That many years ago, I can't do the math in my head right now. That many years ago, I'd said something or a series of somethings that made an impact on that sailor's life that has carried through to fast forward from 2007 to 2023 and impacted him in a positive way. And you don't know who when you're talking to somebody, if you are saying something that is that important, that meaningful, that impactful. You never know what sticks with somebody. So every time you interact with somebody, be real, be present, be in the moment, and reach out, engage with, hey, what's going on? What can I help you with? Those are incredibly important. Because our lives are not just about us. It's about everybody around us and how we change those things. And so that leads me into sort of a bad lead-in. But there's an organization called the Reluctant Brotherhood.org, all run together. The reluctantbrotherhood.org. This was an organization that was given to me when a stand-in radiation oncologist, I did a visit with him, and I mentioned the podcast, and he's like, "Oh, you should get with this guy and this group and take a look." And I'm glad I did. I haven't been on any of the calls yet. The calls are odd times for my schedule, but I've got them on my calendar, and I intend to participate. But they're just Zoom calls with other men that have prostate cancer, and there's different Zoom calls for different purposes. There's just a breakfast call, like, hey, we're not going to talk about cancer. We're just going to be together and socialize on a Zoom call. And that's fantastic, right? You're talking with people who understand your experience and are going through or have been through it. And you're just not gonna talk about that. You're gonna talk about other stuff, and I love that idea. So I'm looking forward to getting on that call. They have one for technical conversations about the cancer. They have one for just to talk about anything in the evening. But the whole idea, the Reluctant Brotherhood, right? That's what happens when you get the prostate cancer diagnosis. You immediately join a brotherhood of other men with cancer, and obviously you didn't want to be part of it. In there on their site, they had a couple other things, including a tips and tricks or a hints or a here's what you do, some stuff about life. And I wrote down, I took there's several in here that I really, really like, and believe. And I have talked about some of them, but some of them are new. So here's some excerpts from their hints about life. Moderate your exercise and diet. And the intent there is it's important to exercise, but don't ruin your body. Don't overdo it. Your body's already trying to heal. It's already trying to fight. Don't make it fight to always rebuild all the healthy cells every time. Walk daily. Walking and getting sunlight is so incredibly important for healing and for our mental health. Do that every day. Go for a walk. Doesn't matter if it's to the mailbox and back, or go for, if you can't do a quarter-mile walk, do an eighth-mile walk. Walk 100 yards. Just do something. Get out there. Because it's easy to get sick. This is another excerpt. It's easy to get sick as you get older, especially with cancer, and it's difficult to get healthy. Your whole immune system is compromised. It's easy to get sick and it's difficult to get healthy, so you owe it to yourself to do everything you can to make that as easy as possible. Spend your money and enjoy life. We don't know what's going to happen for sure. We don't know when we're going. And constantly putting things away, it's important to put away. It's important to save, right? You don't want to be in a really bad situation in 20 years. But you're in the moment right now. You're in the years of your life where you can enjoy it. And so you should spend your money and enjoy life. And on that note, don't let the past drag you down, and don't let the future frighten you. Don't go selling everything and spending all your money now because you don't think that there's a future, right? So there's a balance in there, but it's I like that note. Spend your money, enjoy life, but don't let the past drag you down, and don't let the future frighten you. Stay in touch with people. Social connections help us and are important. That is amazing. And as part of that, life is too short to be bitter. Don't hold grudges. You know what? This one person did this one thing this one time. So what? It doesn't change. What's that saying? What movie is this for? What is this from? Doesn't change how mustard tastes. Gosh darn it, I love that saying, and I can't remember what it's from. Doesn't change how mustard tastes. Yeah, doesn't change the taste of mustard. Somebody comment. If you know what that's from, comment, please. Stay in touch with people, social connections. Life is too short to be bitter. Don't abandon your hobbies. Stay busy. I pulled an old hobby out of the garage, building fishing poles, just to try and keep my mind active and my hands working, and trying to look forward to completing something. Look forward to a trip. Look forward to completing something. Look forward to something every day, every week, every year. That keeps you moving. So don't abandon your hobbies. Don't abandon your plans. Laugh a lot. Laugh at everything. Find humor in everything. And then finally, though not everyone may partake, this spirit of this message wraps up all of those previous ones. The spirit of this message stays true to all. Life is too short to drink bad wine. Enjoy yourself. Yeah. And then finally, one of the other things that I'll put a link in the video and a little card here that talks about this. On the reluctantbrotherhood.org website, there's a video that explains what the prostate is and how it works in mechanical terms, right? The bladder is a big bellows that expands and squeezes. There's a valve on the end of it. Then the prostate is a big container, and then the whole thing just is brilliant. It's brilliantly done. It is insightful, and it helps you understand what all is going on down there and why all this is so complicated. It's called the Man Junk Project. I'll include a link to the video and in the description. But I strongly recommend, if you're going through this, check out the reluctantbrotherhood.org website. Try and get on some of those calls. And I think that's good. I think that's the whole social, it's another way to connect with people that understand what you're going through. And it's therapeutic, right? This podcast I've talked about, I'm doing this. I'm sitting here recording myself talking about this out loud because this helps me. And this really does. This really helps me air out what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, and hopefully shares some insights with other people that are going through this. The connections I've made through this already are amazing. Ian and Glenn and others that Sagaro, there's so many people I'm meeting and continue to meet through this. I pop down in the comments and say, hey, introduce yourself, make a connection, and maybe I am looking to do more interviews on this podcast. So, yeah. With that, I think that's my brain's telling me that I am done rambling. So, we talked a lot about some stuff, and I can't even collect in my head what we talked about right now. It's this short-term memory stuff is just horribly impactful, and going to be living with this for a long time. It doesn't matter. All right. I don't know what the next episode's going to be about yet, but I have some interviews lined up, so I'm going to try and make it one of those interviews, either my brother Stuart or Glenn, and we'll get that out here in about a week or two. So until then, thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe. Take care. I love you all.